Hello and you welcome to yet another edition of my opinion on Cleveland TV in diaspora. And like always, I like to enjoin you. If you are yet to sign up with us, please do so on www.cleveland.com. My name is Frank Aidemudal, and today we'll be discussing um, politics and there's some other issues on this edition. Please, my guest this afternoon is I went no personality. I'll give her time to introduce herself because when I went through her profile, seriously, I was dumbfounded and I'm like, can I really have this off art? I couldn't even do that. I'll give her a chance to introduce herself, but her name is Cicci FabLoso. You're welcome to the
Thank
program,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Hi,
Thank you. Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. I
Happy,
love it.
happy
I,
Sunday to you.
I wish you same from here. I love your smile.
Thank you. Thank
Well
you.
done, man. All right.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I'll give you time to introduce yourself. Please let the audience know who Cece Pabloso is.
All right. Actually, it's pronounced Chichi. So, and I'm
Oh,
sure if you're Nigerian, every Nigerian knows someone who's called Chichi.
exactly.
So, Chichi is an Igbo name,
Yeah.
except I have to adapt it, and the spelling that I gave it is the Cicci. So, a lot of
Yeah.
people pronounce it Sisi. Meanwhile, it's supposed to
Yeah.
be Chichi.
Cheche. With the accent of the H in it.
Yes.
Mm.
So, to introduce myself, I'm the CEO and founder of Nigerian Celebrity Network in the US. And I'm actually also the CEO of Celebrity Entertainment Network, the Nigerian version. Um, I'm also a media personality. I'm a content creator. I'm a TV host. I am also an IT consultant. So recently, I can now confidently also say I'm a musician. So I'm a lot
Wow.
of things, girl.
I learned to just release the first album.
Actually, it was just a single. It's just one song, and yes, it's called Babaloke.
Oh,
So
there's gospel.
it's gospel. Babaloke, of course, is Yoruba for
Exactly.
Heavenly Father, God
Father.
above. Yeah, right. Heavenly Father, our God above, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's an old Yoruba classic song. I'm sure you know Babaloke. Everybody knows the song. The only thing is that it's so old, nobody's done anything fresh or new with it. So
Mm.
I decided to give it a little spin, and that's how Babaloke is out on Spotify, iTunes. It's on Facebook, TikTok, everywhere online. So yes,
Wow.
I'm now a musician also.
That's a great one. So how was the experience? Like remember we are just talking about you. This edition is all about you, your journey so far in business, in music, in everything. So everything is going to be about you. So let's get to hear your musical experience. How was it like?
So the first time I ventured into music was in 2000, I think 2006 or something. Um, and I went into the studio and recorded a couple songs, and I never released it because I was too scared. Like everybody else, I did not have the confidence. I felt like I wasn't good enough. When you hear people like Arya Star, Burna Boy, all these people are blowing, and you just feel so intimidated, like you don't think you can do it, right? So it was on the back burner for a very long time until recently, when I think it was the Holy Spirit that just wanted me to do it, because I kept getting a lot of intuitive messages to do the
Awesome.
music that I want to do. So that's the journey with the music. I'm here now. It's been a very surreal experience, because it's an industry that I am very, very unfamiliar with. I
Mm.
mean, I'm a broadcaster. I've been a broadcaster for over 25 years.
Wow.
Um, so broadcasting is my, familiar ground, my familiar territory.
Mm.
So music production is zero experience. So this was a boot camp, because as soon as I got the intuition to do the music, I had no idea what to do. So I started learning. I've learned everything on how to produce, a music or a song for somebody from scratch. I did it all by myself. And one surreal thing about this journey, about this experience with this music, this Babaloke, is that I recorded this song right here in my living room, right here. All right. I didn't go anywhere. It was early in the morning when I told you divine inspiration. I heard, I was sitting down here watching TV, and I heard Babaloke, 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 and I said Babaloke, Babaloke. I wasn't sure. So because now I pay more attention to, to things that I hear. You know what I mean? Because I'm a little bit more spiritual now than I was years ago.
Yeah, as
So
one gets older,
I
one tends to do that.
yes,
Yeah.
I pay a little bit more attention now. So that was how the Babaloke, intuitively came to me. So I went on the internet to type in Babaloke because it's an old song,
Yeah.
and I couldn't find any people who have done anything really on Babaloke. And not knowing anything about music, I just reached out to my producer. His name is Candy, and I mean, Candy was the one that also helped me when I wanted to record in 2006. But we never released any of the songs, and I'm sure the guy is like, probably wondering when is she gonna release any of my music. I think I've produced like 8 songs with this guy.
Okay.
But Babaloke is the first one that I had the courage to release. And I've learned a lot about music production in this whole process of releasing my own song. I never knew what to do, who to go to, or what to actually do when it comes to music production. But now I can plan all that because my day job is also as an IT project program manager,
Yeah, I read
right?
that.
So I work with large organizations to implement multi-million dollar IT development initiatives, right? Strategic initiatives. So that experience too was very, very applicable in this whole process of planning out the whole music. I could apply that experience there to figure out, all the phases and plan the whole thing out. And now I think I know to a point where I'm actually producing other people.
That's a good one. One would like to say, I would say that you have an advantage because of your background. I mean, you didn't just start from the scratch. You had some backs up and all that, some connections and all that. But for the young artist trying to come up, how do you think such persons can cope in the industry? Do you think it's easy to cope?
So it's a very vicious industry, like the entertainment industry
Industry,
generally.
exactly.
It's a very vicious one. If you're gonna break it down, we have different genres, of course. If you're talking about broadcasting, journalism,
Yeah.
or you want to talk about acting, you want to talk about, like comedy, or you want to talk about online, even, all these comedians online, they're all entertainment. It's a very
Exactly.
vicious industry. It's not an industry that is very welcoming to new people, right?
Accommodating.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean, I mean, you can have a new person come on the scene and blow the way we've seen some of this new, younger, artists come on the scene and boom, it's their time. And that is because a lot of us, a lot of people have broken their backs, all right, their backbone to make sure that there is a soft landing for the new generation now, all right? So it's not easy to break in, but um aside from throwing out what I would consider mediocre, people saying grace of God is grace, it also has a lot to do with your determination. All right,
Exactly.
aside from God's grace, you also have to go out there and do something in your determination. You have to have a very strong online presence. All right, you have to engage people online. You cannot just say, oh, I'm an entertainer, I sing, and you're singing in your room and you're expecting that somebody's gonna come into your room and discover
Exactly.
you. It doesn't work like that. So you have to be online. You have to continue feeding people, show them a little bit of your talent. All right, let them see what you're
What do you
bringing to the
think?
table. And thank God, social media is a can be a blessing in that aspect for a lot of people now, because it's made the world a global community where somebody in Ijebu can produce something and someone in Barcelona can just go on their phone and they can see it.
Exactly.
So the opportunity is there for everybody. All right, engage with people online. Go to different, celebrity profile, comment on their posts. That way, you're giving yourself visibility, because if you go comment on my post and I click on it, and I you might be fortunate, to go comment or click like on a post of mine. When it happens that I have my phone and I have the time to click on that name and go see, oh, who's this person? And wow, what a beautiful talent. You never know. You never know where that can take you. So being
Exactly.
present online, reaching out to people for mentorship, is also a very good idea. Look for people, approach them, send them an email, inbox. Like I said, the internet has made everybody like closer.
Close.
We now
Yeah.
have
Yeah. A global village.
people that
Mm,
we would never have access to. So yes,
exactly.
um, explore all those opportunities if you know it's something that you really have a craving or a hunger to
Passion
actually
for.
find. Yeah.
Yes, all right. Thank you so much. And I would really love to hear your song, because I write as well, I sing as well. But for me, I have never, or never even thought of doing anything about it. But I think I have to take a cue from you, and I start doing one or two things in my own songs as well. So let's go to the media. You are a broadcaster, print journalist, and also a broadcaster journalist. How was your experience like when you started back then in Nigeria?
So let me just share this with you. I've never shared this with anybody, but like the whole lazy youth Nigerian stereotype of all lazy
You've
youths in Nigeria.
you've just used the word of our president. Lazy youth. Nigerians will be angry to hear that. They don't
Exactly.
want to be
That
told.
whole coinage that Buhari later hijacked, it's been there for like God knows forever, like forever. We've always been called lazy youth because the government has never provided the youth with the opportunity, that they need to be able to move up, in their life, explore and showcase their talent and their education. A lot of us will graduate and we're sitting at home doing nothing. So I was home doing nothing, unemployed for years, just paroling the whole neighborhood, you know, going to joints in the evening to go and hang out with friends and just, visiting friends, doing nothing. And just applying for job up and down until my first gig with a TV station. I applied. I think I saw the advert in a newspaper, Daily Times or whatever. Applied, never heard back until a couple weeks after the interview date. I got a letter in the mail, and Nigerian snail mail, postal service sucks. So I think I got the letter 2 weeks after the date of the interview. So
Wow.
of course, I'm late for the interview, right?
Yeah.
So what I did when I got the letter, I was like, oh my God. And I wanted this TV. It was a company in Ikeja. It was a small production company, a private production company, and they were looking for a host, a TV host. So their phone number was there. So I called them and they were like, oh, we're done with the interview. And I said, no, you're not, because I'm not a part of it. I have a letter here that says,
I've been
I'm supposed to
invited
be,
for the same interview.
so my dear, I'm not gonna lie. So I kind of broke down that wall. So they said, okay, come tomorrow for the interview. Can you come in? And I said, sure. This was in Ikeja, and I lived in Ikotu at that time. I was there in the morning, did that interview,
Oh,
and I got hired. All right. That was how this whole journey in broadcasting started. Started working with this company, hosting their home improvement TV show.
okay.
And then later, from there, I transitioned to NTA. NTA 2 started a breakfast show they call Daybreak Nigeria. A lot of people, are familiar with it. It was the first breakfast show in the whole of Africa. At the time, no TV station in Africa was doing any breakfast show. And I'm talking about breakfast show like we have Good Morning America over here, all
Mm,
this Today show in America, all this breakfast, 3 4 hour breakfast show that is like a live show on TV. We didn't have any of that. So it was the first of its kind. and they put out announcement on TV, so broadcasting it to everybody, like, oh, we're having this interview, come for the interview on so date. So I went, like everybody else. It was a lot of people. I got there late. I was on the queue for God knows how many hours with a lot of other notable broadcasters, people who were already known faces on TV, DBN, LTV8, a lot of this broadcasting, were all there to do this interview. And I was there on the line with everybody else. But after the first round, Yinka Craig of late memories, he's so rest, he was my organ. So Yinka Craig was the one that interviewed me. The first stage, the second stage, and he just said, you know what, done. That's how I got, hired to be one of the main anchor for Daybreak Nigeria.
That's a great one. And with what you've explained so far, you discover that what actually kept you giving an edge is actually your self-confidence. Okay. Now, in most of our graduates today, we don't really have that. You say somebody, you go for an interview or one thing or the other, then somebody backs at you or even shouts at you, even talks at you. But the next thing, you just give up immediately. What is the place of self-confidence in anything in life, especially in broadcasting? Let's narrow it down to broadcasting now.
So basically, our life journey is a journey of self-confidence.
Yeah.
That's what our life journey encompasses. All right. Basically, in a nutshell, this whole life journey, our spiritual journey, the reason why we're here is to lose our self-confidence and then find it.
Exactly.
All right. We lose it all on this journey because we meet different people on our life path, right?
Exactly.
We imbibe a lot of, narcissism, a lot of, people will treat us like crap. Even our parents will treat us, in a certain way. Maybe they favor a child over another child and you feel it because you're human.
Your self-confidence, exactly.
Yeah. Even in your society as a child, as you're growing up, your society is also affecting you. The school where you're attending is affecting you. Your teachers, the other students in school, they're bullying you. You're going through bullying and intimidation from other kids at church, everywhere. So this whole journey, till you get to the point of self-discovery, is a journey of losing your confidence. You lose it all to find it, right? So when you've gotten to a point where you now realize that, listen, all I have been experienced up until this point, it has made me lose my confidence. Now, the next thing you do is to empower yourself.
Exactly.
And once you can empower yourself, it's psychological in your mind. I always tell people, what is the worst that can happen? At most, people are going to laugh, right? Or they're going to say no. Then what happens? Nothing. Life goes on.
Exactly.
I'm not killing anyone. I'm not committing any crime. So I'm fine. It doesn't matter if people laugh at you. I will be bold. So I've always empowered myself that way so that when I find myself in the company of other people who maybe might be more intelligent, more accomplished than I am, they better fear me because I'm walking in like I own the place. All right? I walk in like I own the place because that power comes from within, inside, of knowing that all my life, I've gotten to this point where now I feel like I'm empowered, all right, enough that people need to listen to what I have to say. I'm old enough now that I feel like people should listen to what I have to say because I have something to say. And when you can get to that mindset, that is where your empowerment begins. That's when you can be fearless and bold in going after any of your dreams. You said you like to sing, you've never tried it. I'm telling you, there is a reason why those gifts are inside of you. Exactly. All right? But it is fear that we keep holding us back. Exactly. And our life journey is a journey of conquering fears. That is it. All our life, it's those fears which are, part of our ego mind that is speaking that will always hold you back from moving forward from exploring, from thinking somebody else is better than you, from thinking you cannot do it, you're gonna fail, everybody's gonna laugh at you. You can laugh, it doesn't matter.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. Before we go on a short break, I introduced you as Cicci FabLoso, and also I learned you are also Miriam Amanambo. All right, so could you? I like you to come here and explain the names. Is which of them is the alias and which is the original names? And after that, we'll go on a short break.
All right. So my birth name is Marion Emmanuel.
Oh,
And I know Marion is spelled Marion.
Mariam.
And it was given to me by my father, who worked for the Germans back in the day in Nigeria. Was a human resource manager for a big German company in Lagos. So I think in his interaction with Germany people, he fell in love with the name. Only God knows. Maybe he met one woman by that name. I don't know. He didn't confess.
Momsy
So
must not
anyway,
hear that.
that's how I got the name, Marion.
Yeah.
So my name is Marion. My Igbo name is Cicci. All right. So Marion Cicci, Amanambo. But when I transitioned, into formally doing entertainment, I had to change my name. And the primary reason why I changed my name was because I was being stalked online. All right, I was being cyberbullied and stalked by people online, and it went on for like a whole year continuously. So I had to strip myself of my identity, during that period, change my name, remove a lot of stuff from my profile, and just decided to go into hiding. And that happened for a long time, for many years, because like I said, I'm an IT professional, and to me, I have to pay my bills. And I don't want anybody, tainting my name. I've worked so hard to hold my name. So I didn't want anybody citing in me, tainting my name and my reputation, and allowing it to affect my day job or my professional life as an IT consultant. So I had to remove my name from my entertainment personality. So that's how the separation happened. So now I'm Cicci FabLoso to everybody, to my very close friends, my schoolmates, people who grew up with me. A lot of people call me Marion. Those who are my childhood friends call me Cicci. So there you have it.
Is a ritual. Now I see where you got should I say the self-confidence, now more of the self-confidence, because I think in life your background actually matters a lot. Where you grow up in matters a lot. It helps in building self-confidence and other issues. So with a father that worked with the Germans, I know that definitely they must have made an impact. So thank you so much, Cicci FabLoso. So we will take a short break here and come back shortly. Audience, please stay with us.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
All right.
Clevenard in Diaspora Television is an internet online TV service. What sets us apart is a unique combination of hit African content, first and exclusive international free movies, series, musics, news, events, documentaries, tourism, teleshopping shows, youth TV programs, and live interviews. Clevenard Diaspora Television is available throughout sub-Saharan Africa and to the diaspora markets worldwide. Take your entertainment with you wherever you go. Watch on your smartphone, tablet, laptop, smart TV, depending on your device. Watch free movies with Clevenard Movies Television. Stop searching for free movies websites and watch Clevenard Movies Television. Watch your favorite African shows anywhere at any time. Don't forget to check out our top 5 TV channels created to get you informed. TV1, Clevenard in Diaspora Television. TV2, Clevenard Youth Television. TV3, Clevenard Movies Television. TV4, Clevenard Teleshopping Television. TV5, Clevenard Tourism Television. To start watching, sign up at www.clevenard.com and follow the easy steps. Once you're done, log into the Clevenard website or app on your device, click on any one of our 5 TV channels, and hit play. We will be very satisfied and happy to welcome you to our team as one of our new business partners. Contact info@clevenar.com +34 631 279811. Website www.clevenard.com. Clevenard in Diaspora Television is an internet online TV service.
All right. Welcome back. We are still with Cicci FabLoso, and we are discussing her journey so far in all sectors of life. All right, welcome back, ma'am.
Thank you.
When I was going through your biography, I learned you did one or two stops with the late broadcaster Yinka Greg. How was Craig? I mean to say, how was the experience like with him? Because we all know him as one of the fathers of journalism in Nigeria. I was very small then, although while watching NTA, Network News, and the likes of it, we got to like learn one or two things from those people. But for you that had close contact with them, how did it impact on your line of work?
It gets me very emotional that, Inca Craig died the way that he did. He suffered, I think it was cancer, some rare form of melanoma cancer that he suffered. Is it lymphoma or something? And he did not make it. So, when I think about and he went through all that just when I was leaving Nigeria and moving to the US was when he went through all that. And I remember when they brought him to the Mayo Clinic or somewhere for treatments, and I spoke with him, and shortly after that he passed. I can tell you one thing professionally, Yinka Craig was a genius of a man, all right? Very smart, forward-thinking man, all right? He was a visionary. He always had a can-do attitude towards everything. He was the kind of person that, wasn't scared of breaking down boundaries or breaking down doors, or if you shut a door, to go knock on that door the second time and go make that request, even though you said no the first time, maybe you will change your mind and say yes the second time.
Exactly.
So I learned that from Yinka Craig, and I learned hard work from him because he wanted or demanded nothing but the best.
Perfection.
Nothing. And because he was the one who came up with this whole concept of the breakfast TV show, that first breakfast TV show, Daybreak Nigeria, NTA gave him that whole thing and said, go, you do it. So it was Yinka Craig's production company, Andromeda Production, that handled that whole breakfast show on behalf of NTA. So he gave Yinka Craig a lot of power, all right, to shape broadcasting and to make a difference in that industry. His legacy can never die. His legacy will always be forever. Other people that he has also impacted their lives and shaped their lives in one way or another professionally. Everybody's out there in the field, like doing what we know how to do best. And the whole team for Daybreak Nigeria were all doing great, I think. Some are, in NTA. Some have their own private production companies, and some are abroad. So we're all doing fantastic, and I have nothing but good words and kind kind thoughts of Mr. Craig.
All right. So the kind of constraint that affects journalists today, did you have it in your own time?
Of course, it wasn't any worse then. we weren't online. There was no internet back then. There was no cell phone. The luxury that we have today of carrying cell phone and calling you, I called me, and we're talking. We didn't have all this luxury. There was no cell phone back then, my sister. All right, no cell phones, no internet, nothing. Everything was rudimentary. You had to go out in the streets, all right, to actually interview people. This thing we're doing now, It was virtually almost impossible, except it was through their broadcasting network thing that they
Exactly.
a van, something had to be there in your location, all right, to
Exactly.
kind of log you into the NTA, so that they can broadcast you. They didn't have this. That you're in one country, I'm in another country, and we're talking. The constraint was heavy back then, right? We did not have the luxury that everybody, in the industry, what they have today. It wasn't there for us. It wasn't made available, but we made the best of our situation, right? Um,
Mm.
Transportation wasn't easy. I remember,
Exactly.
because it was a live show, Daybreak Nigeria, we had a traffic report segment. And that traffic report, it
Mm.
didn't matter that I was a main host on the show, right? They still put me on traffic bits like everybody else. You, Mama Daybreak, that's what Inka Craig called me. You'll be like, Mama Daybreak is on traffic reports Monday. Okay, your traffic report Tuesday. So they gave everybody. So, and I remember traffic reports meant I had to leave my house at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m. or whatever, to take bike, Okada, Keke Marwa, all those, local means of transportation, get on a
Transportation.
bike, ride, risk your life, and make your way to the airport, because you have to get to the airport and figure out, what's going on with their, schedules that they
Flight schedules. Yeah.
cancel, then delays, because we had a lot of people watching the show to get early morning news. All right. If you had a flight, you would rely on the show to get your status. All right. So
Mm.
I mean, that whole process of getting myself to the airport in order to call in to the studio and do my live reports of, there was hold up from Oshodioke to Airport Junction. And,
Mama Lagos. That's a
there
Mama
was,
Lagos for you.
yes, and
Mm.
we had a trailer that capsized, or, people on the whatever, it was verbal, it was manual, it was strenuous. It was so rudimentary, it was unsophisticated, it was hard. But we did the best with what we had at the time.
The life of a journalist. All right, you agree with me that with every advantage comes a disadvantage. Okay, you might say, okay, this generation has a lot of advantage over that generation then. But the effect of sensational journalism on social media today, do you think is having a negative impact on journalism itself?
So I think back then the advantage that I can think of is like having control over dissemination of
Mm.
information. All
Information.
right,
Yeah.
information rich, and kind of having control over it. Back in the day, the media, broadcast media was a very huge tool when the military wanted to take over a
Mm,
country, or
exactly.
if there was a military coup, or somebody wants to usurp power. They first take control of the TV stations, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The
Mm.
communication. So communication is very powerful. So back then, there was a lot of control with, stage gates for dissemination of information.
Information.
It's hard for information to just fly about the way they do nowadays. Today, I can get online and say, oh, Cleveland TV just won 1 billion US dollars from the government. I'll put it out there. Before you know it, this thing will reach Abeokuta. It
Goes
will reach
viral.
Singapore, and it will reach
Exactly.
Cambodia. All right, now. And believe me, if 1,000 people saw it, 990 believe it.
Exactly. And there's no way for confirmation. There's no way to confirm it.
Everybody is a journalist. Everybody is a broadcaster. Everybody is a blogger, a videographer, a reporter, a comedian. Everybody online has.
Both the mediocre and all.
We feed into mediocrity. We actually do as a society. and it's so sad because technology is meant to, bring its blessings. And even though I know, you have to juxtapose the blessings with the curse, right? And just focus on the good, on the blessings of, because of the age of, technology that we're in today, we have visibility into things that are happening in places where normal eyes will not get to. All right. Things happening in Nigeria, we are seeing them live without being there. Things happening in China, we're seeing them here without being there. All right, thanks to social media. And the fact that we have evolved greatly from a place where, there was strict control of the media. Everything had to funnel through a channel, like the government or the chief executive of a TV station or the editor of a newspaper. Everything had to go through them. If it did not get approved, it wasn't going to be produced. It wasn't going to be signed off on the air. Now, nobody needs your permission. I don't need your permission. You don't need to sign off on my content. All I need to do is sign off on my own content and we're good to go. I can put it out there for what is what, So you want to look at it that way. It has its pros and it has its cons too.
Is that right? The journalists fear of stories being killed. Those days when you write, you are scared of the editors. They're killing your story or even allowing it to fly. But nowadays, it's no longer there. That's a good one, at least for a change. Now, let's look at the media as the watchdog of the society. And I also want to make a comparison between when you started here in Nigeria and then what we have now. The media still playing that role, the watchdog of the society? Let's relate it to the experience you had in NTA back then.
All right. So the media has always and will forever be the watchdog of the society. Whatever the society is, as long as that society practices democracy and there is freedom of choice, freedom of speech, freedom of everything, right? If their human rights are not being trampled upon in that society, the media will always play its role as a watchdog of society. And because it's a very old profession, a profession that's been there from back there, way back, it's as old as humanity, even though now we're seeing it in a new light of TV and newspaper. Then back then probably started by word of mouth. Any form of communication is media. All right, gossip is media. All right, whether you like it or not, is media. But the good thing is that we have figured a way out with this new generation to use it as a tool of empowerment. And I feel like like what you see in today's society also, the media is a very strong, spokes presence in Nigerian politics, for example. When I was there, it was, even though it was controlled. Not everything. You couldn't come on NTA because, of course, Nigerian government owns NTA. You can't come on NTA to come and diss the government. All right, you can't say anything on the TV station because it belongs to the government, except maybe you were on AIT or Muri Television or MTV or all those other DBN who were private. But then you also had to be speaking the language of the owner of the TV station. You can't be on Silverbird TV and you're not speaking the language of Bruce. You have to speak. So it's a watchdog, but it's still limited in control. It will always be limited in control. Always. That's the way it is. That's the way it will always be. So you will always have journalists. You will always have broadcasters. You will always have media people. Now they call themselves, or we call ourselves, content creators, who will always, despite people trying to shut us down, will always have a voice in speaking the truth and showing to the world what people don't want us to show. So the media will always play that role in our society.
It's all right. We'll try to see and take a quick look at Cicci FabLoso and business. Journalist being in the line of business it's should I say somehow, I don't want to use that word, but we'll get to hear it from you after this short break. Please don't go away, audience.
Hello there. Looking for an African movie? Search no further. Cleveland African Movies TV is here for you. We are dedicated to the acceleration of African films, TV series, documentaries, and lots more. Explore our movies at home or on the go. Cleveland Movies is free to watch on cleveland.com. Don't miss this opportunity. Hurry now. Sign up and subscribe today.
All right, you welcome back. We are still with Cicci FabLoso and we are discussing the story of her life. Before we went to the short break, I tried to ask the question, which is the relationship between journalism and business. I learned you're into different kind of business, you sell stuff and all that. How did you migrate from journalism to being a businesswoman? And how profitable has it been?
So let me tell you, I've always discovered that I can sell ice to an Eskimo. Wow. It's always been, I've always had it inside of me. Growing up, I started, maybe the Igbo blood in me. You know what they say about Igbo people, we like money, right? Then we're business savvy and we're business oriented or whatever. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I grew up in Lagos, so I don't know. I did not really have much of an Igbo influence, other than my family was Igbo and we were rooted in Igbo tradition. But so I don't know if that really had a lot to do with that. But my Yoruba background has really helped me to be who I am in terms of also discovering opportunities when I find them. All right, because Yoruba people are smart too, like that. You know what I mean? When I discover an opportunity, I go for it. The Igbo part of me will launch and dive in, right? The Yoruba part of me will discover it. And the Igbo part of me will finish it up. All right. So when the pandemic hit, and
you mean the COVID-19?
2019 is when I registered my Cicci FabLoso marketplace in the US. That's what it's called. 2019, towards the end of 2019. And that was because in my day job as an IT consultant, I had been at this job for about 8 years. All right. And in my own experience, I was discriminated against at that job. I was ganged up against at that job by, Caucasians, people who just did not like the fact that I was Black, or the fact that I was an African, and I was sitting there, making decisions and obviously smart. And, also they will go Google your name and see you're doing this and you're doing that, and envy becomes the order of the day. So I went through all of that. All right. And that kind of, translated into the workplace and turning my workplace into a very toxic work environment for me. So I quit the job. I woke up one day, it was after 8 years. It just did not make any sense to me. And, I use this to also empower people, because when I quit that job, I had no clue what I was going to do. I mean, if I was actually living in my fears, I would not leave. I would be there suffering at this job, and they almost gave me depression, almost gave me anxiety. These people almost turned me into a crazy woman. All right. And I woke up one day, I'm not joking, it was bad. I put in my resignation and I left. And I started thinking, well, how am I going to make money now? I don't know. So I registered a company. And I said, okay, I've been traveling for years for my Pillow Talk. I have a show called Pillow Talk, so I travel a lot. So in the process of traveling, I've always purchased, like when I traveled to Asia in 2000, and I think it was 2018. I went to Asia. I think I went to about 8 countries in Asia within 1 month. I toured the whole of Asia. I slept in a hotel every day for a month, almost a month. And I went to like 8 countries and 10 cities in Asia. So when I came back, it was envy at my job. It was problem after problem. It was the manager now asking, "Oh, I don't know how you can afford all this trip, all this vacation," as if you're in my bank account. They go Google your name and they think, "Oh, she's making all this." So I had to like start this. It was crazy. It was crazy. One of the people at work, she came to me and she's like, "Oh, even for my honeymoon, I did not even take a honeymoon. You are traveling to Asia." And I'm like, I don't understand. I'm not preventing you from traveling. Why is my traveling now a problem? So me sitting here and thinking, how am I going to make money now? And the Igbo woman in me kicked in with, I have things I've always purchased when I travel. I buy jewelry every time, and I have beautiful jewelries. I buy them. Girl, that's how I started. Register the company, hit the, I don't care if money is, or wherever money is, I'll go pick it up. I was at the mall. I got a stand at the mall. I was there for like a whole month or 2 months through the end of 2019. I, sold my jewelry. I'm like, yeah, this is business. I went online. So that's how the whole business started with jewelry. Even though I've always had it in me. I know I can sell. Marketing has always been a very strong point for me. I'm very good at marketing, but it's not something I can confess that I like to do. I don't like to market. I don't like asking people for money. I don't like begging for money. I don't like going to grab people's money. So I've always struggled with selling and money issues. So I just don't want money wahala.
And then it needs to be self-dependent.
And then you're going to meet different characters. People will owe you money. People will fight you because of your money. People will come and tell you, "Oh, is this thing not $10 when you bought it for $200?" And you're like, "Are you serious?" So yes, it's been a very interesting experience.
Yeah, so I guess you are making a lot of money from it.
Yes.
Very much profitable.
Yes. So
if you had to choose between business and journalism, which will you go for?
No, I'm a die-hard broadcaster. I'm a die-hard media content, creator, media personality. It's in my blood. I feel like if there's anything like a prior life, if we reincarnate, I'm telling you, I am sure in my previous life, I was a broadcaster. I was some kind of celebrity. I was in media. I was doing something relevant, even back then. So yes.
So how did you know that? We're Nigerians talking. We're Nigerians talking. We know that is how Nigerians talk. We understand.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Sister, even though there's really no money in journalism, it's a job of passion. It's a job of passion. All right.
Exactly. That's it.
Just like music is a job of passion. A lot of people who sing music are broke. They don't have the money. Instead, put their money in. When we love things like this, we put our money. I've spent thousands of dollars, a lot of money to feed my passion and this whole media stuff, because I love it. That's who I am. I would be lost without it.
And that's what matters a lot in life. All right, thank you so much, Ma. It's been a beautiful more than 30 minutes interview with you. But I'd like you to leave us with a last word for today's journalist and also for the youth, today's youth.
So if I want to leave a message for today's journalists, I'll be like, don't give up. I've been in this industry for over 20 years, 25 years. I started from scratch. I have had the door shut in my face many times. I've had people say no. I've been in places where nobody, valued or appreciated what I bring. I have felt at times that I was just breaking my back and nobody cares what I'm selling or what I'm bringing. I've gotten to point of disillusionment with my career. So I will tell you, don't be disillusioned. Little drops of water does make a mighty ocean. It's one step at a time. If you're into journalism, it's not an overnight success, even though it can be for some people. But it's, for most people, it isn't. You have to keep working and working and working. But most importantly, networking, network.
Very important.
You know, mix with other people, connect with other people
Exactly.
online. Very, very important. All right. Reach out to people. Feed into what other people are selling. All right. Don't just say I'm a journalist. You're sitting there. Like, share other people's posts. All right. Participate in
Exactly.
what other people are selling, what other people are also doing, so that they can also feed into what you are bringing. Right. That would be the advice I would give you. Never give up. Continue feeding your passion. Feed other people so that you too can be replenished, and just keep going and know that one day it go better. And then for Nigerian youth,
Yeah, let's not use the lazy Nigerian youth, but I beg to use it. The last one for the lazy Nigerian youths.
so Nigerian youth, I don't think they are lazy. Honestly,
Exactly. Exactly.
honestly, I grew up in Nigerian in
Mm,
Nigeria, and I know we are not lazy.
exactly.
I know we are hardworking. I really don't know any Nigerian who does not like to work. We
Mm,
are workaholics. Our
exactly.
parents imbibe in us a work attitude from a very
Mm,
young age. All right. I started doing
exactly.
business when I was young. All right, my teenager. Most people were selling or hawking or trading or doing something for their parents growing up. All right, so we're not lazy. So what I'm gonna tell advise, Nigerian youth, of course, is
Great.
not dependent on the government. All right, if our government is not stepping up, our youth will suffer. But the youth, don't let the government's inabilities, all right, deter you
Mm,
or prevent you or stop you. You can be the champion of your own cause. You can
exactly.
be your own cheerleader. You can not give up because the government is not doing anything. You cannot give up because the government does not even recognize you're there. A lot of our youth are graduates. They will graduate like I
Exactly.
graduated. I was home for God knows, maybe 10 years or 5 years. It was a long time. It was a
Mm,
long time I was home without a job, paroling the community and just hanging out with people and just getting into different all sorts of mischief. So
mm,
the internet is your friend.
mm,
There is a lot of resource on the web. School,
exactly.
free education, free scholarship, free money, free. There is a lot there that if you go deep with a little discernment, prayer, ask the Holy Spirit to guide you as you're going on the internet, because you can ask for the Holy Spirit to guide you too as you venture on the internet to go look for your job, right? And say, Holy Spirit,
Exactly.
guide me, I'm going, please. And use your discernment and go and continue looking. Don't say, because I didn't find anything today, I'm not going to check tomorrow. Keep looking.
Tomorrow.
Sow a seed in your own life. Better yourself. Take in more education if you can. Free classes is good. No education is
Mm,
wasted. I
exactly.
went to school to learn shorthand. I went to school to learn typing. I went to school to learn computer. All right. I went to school to learn all these things. None of them is wasted. I use all of them today in my life, in my career. And that's what I'm going to tell Nigerian youth. Until that opportunity comes for you, keep knocking on those doors, keep banging, and keep pushing, and keep creating. Keep find out what it is that God has deposited inside of you. All right, because we all have something. Figure it out. If you're a comedy person, figure it out. If you're an actor, start doing something. You can start recording something on your phone. Do something.
Exactly.
Don't wait for the government. I did never waited. I brought myself to America. I never waited for the government to do anything for me. You don't have to wait. All right, you too can get to where I am today, um, with the kind of determination and hard work that I put into it.
Exactly. And you certainly makes the difference. So thank you so much, Cicci FabLoso, for that time given to us. Thank you for being my special guest today on today's interview. It's good. It was good having you on board.
Thank you for having me. I really had a blast. Thank you for the opportunity to connect with all the viewers in Europe. This is the first interview I'm doing for people in Europe, so I hope everybody will check out Baba Loke. It's on Spotify, it's on iTunes. It's Baba Loke, Baba Loke.
Yeah.
Go check
Yeah,
out
God in heaven.
and be blessed. Thank you, everybody.
Thank, thank you so much. And then,
and all that.
all right, and then, thank you so much. All right, viewers, we draw the curtain here for today. You've heard her. In anything you have to do in life, in all your gettings, please try and get self-confidence. It is very, very important. Till next week, we'll come your way with another guest on this program. I remain Franca Idemudia. Do have a blessed evening. Bye.